Jan, go on. You had a comment. Go on. So.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of very interesting thoughts already. I think in general, even though we all shed light on it from a different perspective, from what I've heard, I mean, in the end, by enablement, it's basically, I think it's a way of selling. Yeah, no matter how you want to see it, whether it's tools, processes, people. So that's what I mean with way of selling. Yeah, it's always a combination of different things. So in that regard, as we've been taught also how to do sales, yeah, it's about authority. It's about the value of sellers is very high in helping people to make right decisions. I think in that regard has nothing changed. We've also been talking about tools. I think the problem that we is, and there I want to draw on the point that George mentioned, the buyer is part of a system, right? It's a complex system, and the buying process is also very complex. The problem is that we as salespeople, we draw linear processes. We oversimplify the reality. And what happens from there is we basically follow linear processes, whereas the reality, the buyer's journey, the buyer's process is not linear at all. And I think this is where we as sellers also might lose throughout the process credibility, authority, because we are not acting buyer-centric. And this is also, and as a result, what we can see is what Arthur just mentioned, studies from Gartner, where people actually say, I don't want to talk to salespeople anymore. So I think for us is back to the basics, make it about the other person, and let's stop thinking in too simple and linear processes that do not match the buyer's needs and his actual reality within the system he's in.
We're going to touch back on that point in a minute, but before I do,